There you go. Take a look.
We are celebrating the President of the United States signing into law legislation last week that is long overdue. It's long overdue because we're here to recognize the contributions that our Hmong brothers and sisters, those who served in the SGU during the Vietnam War, alongside of American men and women who served our nation during that war, who fought side by side to deal with a common foe. And these soldiers reflect those families, literally thousands and thousands, who fought in battles, rescued U.S. airmen, spied on the Ho Chi Minh Trail, and for their countless sacrifices, lost thousands and thousands of SGU soldiers. That period of time during the Vietnam War, in which the Hmong soldiers were part of the CIA's contribution to what was referred to as the Secret War, resulted, when we left in 1975, President Ford signing an executive order in all of those who participated, who could come to America, they would be granted permanent residence and ultimately, as we see today, citizenship in the first and second generations. These individuals around me reflect that story. That story for now 3 generations of Hmong and Southeast Asian families that stood with the United States during that war. The fitting and the appropriate thing was that we recognized them for their service, for their gallantry, and for those who made the ultimate sacrifice and gave their lives. Today we believe there are approximately 5,000 plus SGU soldiers that are still alive today in the United States that will benefit from this law signed by the President of the United States last week. These 5,000 or so soldiers, upon confirmation with the Veterans Administration, will be allowed, if they so choose, to be buried in an American cemetery, an American military cemetery, with full honors. Like in Santa Nella, like in Tehachapi, and many other military VA cemeteries across the nation. And that's what we are celebrating here today. Now I need to thank some people because without their support, this would not have happened. And we have so many people to thank. But let me thank 3 individuals who are no longer with us. Charlie Waters. You know how passionate Charlie Waters was about this issue. And Bill Diesel. Both Bill Diesel and Charlie Waters helped us, along with Bob McLaughlin and others, bring in American veterans organizations to support this effort. And it was these American veterans organizations, of which Bob belongs to and Charlie and Bill did, that had the credibility and also remembered from their own experience in Vietnam what happened, what really happened, because they were there and they witnessed it. And they knew these were comrades in arms. And so they, along with General Bang Pao, Janine's father, who was a leader for all of us among the communities. I can tell you that both General Bang Pao and for Bill and for Charlie, this was a passion. And so we think of them today, and I hope they're smiling because we are successful finally. And so let me close. We have some speakers here who would like to say a few words. Obviously my congressional colleague, Congressman Paul Cook, that made this a bipartisan piece of legislation from Southern California. Paul was a colonel in the United States Army, and he fought alongside with the SGU. And his support, along with Senator Murkowski from Alaska, made a big difference. When we got Senator Murkowski's support from Alaska, that with our collective efforts allowed us to put it in the budget omnibus bill, which was the vehicle that made this legislation become law. So let me recognize the following individuals, and then we have a few speakers. First of all, Chu Chang, the national president of the SGU families. Where is
here.
Thank you, Chu, for being here.
Thank you.
You've come a long ways.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
In addition to that, Vietnam veteran Bob McLaughlin and veteran Harry Paul. I saw Harry and then Bob. Thank you very much. Thank you for continuing to be steadfast in your support and bringing our veteran organizations together. God bless both of you. And Harry's got the best band in the valley. Thank you. Yes. Sounds of freedom. Tell them we gave them a shout.
Congressman Costa. Today's a day of celebration, so I will try to make it as fast and as quick as possible in my speech. But truly an exciting day, a momentous day for our community and for our nation. More specifically to the Hmong American family and of course the Hmong veterans themselves. Today is not just a day of recognition and acknowledgement, but it is a day of affirmation to the service and contributions that the Hmong SGU, through their service and their contributions to the United States during the Secret War, a component of the greater Vietnam War conflict. And it's still a story that's untold to the American society today, and it's something that we as a group, as a community, will continue to advocate and communicate through education and of the various groups and individuals who've always been a key component of this effort. So to the veterans, I congratulate all of you. It is a historical day, a decade in the making, if I can recount it correctly. And lastly, I just want to thank a few of our elected officials who, without them, none of this would have been possible as well. And that does not exclude our community leaders, the organizations that all rallied together and combined our efforts and forces to make this happen. But first of all, of course, he is no stranger to us. He's always been a dear friend to each and every single one of us, and he will and shall continue to be a dear friend and brother to all of us. And even though the Hmong SGU Service Recognition Act has been enacted as of last Friday, when President Trump signed it as part of the greater omnibus bill, there's still a lot of work to do, Jim. And I look forward to continuing this with the community, the leaders, the organizations, our other Vietnam vets, who we were just speaking about the American Legion, so that's something that I too look forward to assisting there in spreading the word and the education there. Congressman Jim Costa, thank you for your leadership and spearheading this. And if I can recount this correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, but since 2010 is when we started work on this. And it was through Congressman Jim Costa and his staff who introduced this bill the very first time in the U.S. Congress. And many members of the U.S. Congress joined and threw in their support, but it's been almost 7-8 years in the making. And so with the, as of last year, December 2017, Congressman Jim Costa and another dear friend, Congressman Paul Cook, who co-sponsored this, and our U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski from the state of Alaska, as mentioned earlier, introduced in the U.S. Senate, made all this happen, achieved and accomplished this today. So it happened a lot quicker than we anticipated, but it happened, and it's a momentous, it's a very exciting, very happy day for the Hmong SGU veterans, for their loved ones and families, and for all those who could not be with us here today. We thank them for their service and contribution. It was not just in a war or a conflict, but it was done so in the name of freedom, of liberty and democracy, so that that may continue for each and every single one of us. So we thank them for their service, for their contributions and their sacrifices. We thank those veterans who are still with us today, and we thank those who still serve our country in the front lines, in many different theaters and conflicts around the world. We're very blessed to have them and their service, of the brave men and women who serve in uniform and in service. And again, past conflicts and wars, like our Vietnam vets, whom we still work very hard to give them the appreciation, recognition that they so hardly deserve too. So thank you, and
first, let me thank Congressman Jim Costa. He's our champion, and he never get up. I know Congressman Jim Costa probably in the past more than 20 years, or maybe 30, I don't know. And he has always been a friend of the Hmong, and he actually take his leadership and to introduce this bill. This bill means to all of us, Hmong American, Hmong veteran across the country. And today is the reality, as Congressman mentioned and Jenny mentioned earlier. This is very, very special for all of us. I think many of you who are veterans. And let me say a few words. And who know you know Jane Han, no Friday time I President Tan Tao Sin Jai Jai của Tân Giải của Hmong Veteran Recognition Act. Jai Jai là vậy, được cài lối Jai Jai được bây giờ Hmong của dân nào cao. Cho tổ sư nên là cho trong chế chụp một cái gì đó hay chi nữa thì đó chỉ là ni ha mũi buồn là cái trong lời ni mua chạy mua lọ đó hồ cho ta trả của American Veteran National Cemetery giờ để ni hay vậy ni chỉ rằng là cũng chỉ trả để chỉ ni cho nên nó tọt hơn là để yêu đi trả này cả cái chỉ bao bê thì chỉ làm bao thì nó giờ đi sẽ được bao cái kia đi cái trả kia chủ hóa tự do thì là chỉ nó làm bao rồi thì bây giờ cũng cho nó sắp được xe thì để của hai linh trong này cái này sẽ là họ của xe lọ tàu đó đây mà qua tàu giả chỉ có cái gì mà họ này giờ pan rồi thì giờ phải bao nhiêu xe cái vấn đề này sẽ là đó có thể đó Congressman Jim Costa thế này. I want to say that this is just, again, very, very special. And on behalf of all the veterans across the country, Hmong community, I want to thank Congressman Jim Costa and Senator Kowalski in Alaska. I think these are two main individuals that are superheroes. In addition to, I'd like to also thank Congressman Paul Cook that will actually fight side by side with Congressman Jim Costa, and he never get out, even though how struggle, how all this politics in DC. But every year when we visit DC, he always come out, spend time with us, talk to us, have a photo like this. And this is a man that will go beyond his duties, beyond his ability, and he truly our friend and our brother. And this is the guy that we really need to look after. In addition to those, I want to thank all you. I mean, I think came from far away. Now my personal but staff in Sacramento, they will join us here today. Before I forget, we also have Province City Council want to join us as well. And we appreciate it.
TV host है 15
And then maybe we'll answer the question later.
Right, we can do that with you. Peter, let me thank you, and I appreciated your passion, both in English and Hmong. You do Hmong better than I do. I think fondly of how much your father would have enjoyed celebrating this great victory today. March 29th, I am told President Trump has recognized those veterans who served in the Vietnam War. And so it's fitting and appropriate that we today celebrate all of the veterans who participated in the Vietnam War. And with the inclusion of this honor, this tribute that we have been working on for over 8 years, we now appropriately, fitting and appropriately recognize the special security units that comprise the SJU, literally tens and thousands of soldiers in the 1960s and the 1970s who fought alongside, shoulder to shoulder with the American soldiers that participated in that conflict. So March 29th, President Trump has recognized those veterans who served in the Vietnam War. Today we recognize them, we think of them, we think of those names on the wall, and we think of the 5,000 or so veteran members of the SGU who are still alive today, who will now have the opportunity to also be recognized for serving our country. And really that's why we work so hard to make this happen. So as we close, we want to thank all of you who have made this effort a success. It could not be done without all of us together working. And let us also remember as we close, men and women today who are serving in active duty in the United States military, here in our country and around the world in harm's way, as Ching said, protecting our freedoms that we hold most dear, protecting our democratic values, protecting our way of life. That is really what America is all about. Immigrants past and immigrants present, a nation of immigrants for 240 years that have been the beacon of light around the world for human rights and for democratic values. And as we know, those values and those rights don't come for free. We've been tested, and we've met the test every time, and some have paid the ultimate price. We think of them in our thoughts and prayers and their families, because it's always the families that are a part of this effort, as their families are. And so I spoke to some of you earlier this week. Y'all told me about your families, how proud your families were. And I can't tell you how proud I am to have been placed a small part in making this legislation become law and a reality. Congratulations to everyone. Thank you.
Hail Tung Pattaya Hut.
Well, right now we're working with the Veterans Administration. I mean, the law was just signed into effect on last Friday. And so it takes a while for the Veterans Administration to write the regulations necessary to implement the law. And we're working with them on that effort. And of course, they've just had a change of secretary of the Veterans Administration yesterday. So that makes things probably move a little slower. We'll see. But we're going to do everything we can to press full ahead, and hopefully within the next several months, maybe sooner, have regulations that will be published so that all of these veterans and their families will know what they need to do to comply if they want to take advantage of this honor and to be buried in an American military cemetery.
Explain that, Hmong. I'll let you do that.
น้องเดียวว่าอย่าลีแต่ฉันจะเจ็บพันเลยอย่าอุลิจาเราอย่าตั้งใจนะนะเจถึงชัวรู้ดิพามินาเวทเลยอย่าเราชัวเต้นต้องต่อคือต้องเดี๋ยวว่าอยากตื่นที่อยู่ที่ qualify 其他人的情况到呀，我这阵天呢呀，或者呀我跌了那就买来贴了背，按这面是的背那么我领导HU 背老背路老为准，America 呢要了么这个的，问到的把这个定价也是叫其他问到好像都包，好像都到有 program 呢，那就叫做做背不离，把了问到个。
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today at this great celebration honoring the Hmong Veterans SGU. Bob, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you were involved with this bill.
Well, my name is Bob McLaughlin, and I'm a Vietnam veteran, 2 tours in Vietnam, 1968-69. I'm quite aware of the heroism of the SGU and that there's a lot of American veterans today that are still breathing air because of your people, and we truly appreciate it. So when Bill Dietzel and Charlie Waters got involved, I had a clear understanding. I got even a better understanding. I did my research on the SGU, what heroes, and how better could we honor them than what we are doing today.
Thank you so much, and we wanted to appreciate you for being the voice to help our veterans. Charlie Water and Bill Dietzel and Harry, we were so passionate in making this happen from the very beginning of 2010, so thank you. So finally it came alive today.
Yes, it did.
Harry, thank you so much for joining us today. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what are we doing downtown by the courthouse park?
Well, I'm here to celebrate what everybody else is celebrating for the Hmongs, who are very happy. Worked a long time for a good cause, and I'm glad I was able to help.
We miss Charlie Water and Bill Dietzel.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Also, no, also at the Papa Charlie Water, the Bill Dietzel go to each year, go no, Beto or Jack on my no, Bado Jim Costa, John Lang John to Gia, or Betu Haluna, young motor to Kate Cote, your home to John upon it, Zinala, you were sure, Pagato, no, Jack on my no, Bado Beja, two jaw veteran, so length to the SGU. A pay on some Padre to Tea, John Shea, and no, I need to compare and Athena, Shinjidua. Dòng xe cho nên cho veteran hú nọ nó chỉ nhận lòng nè.
Dạ, dòng xe hạt tiền hú nọ giờ inu tàu trở về xe xã, thế khó tu xe khó tiền bây giờ nè cho tí cho nó cho uo cho này ta hẳn, tàu chạy bây giờ trong khung cầu li, inu nó mà chửi chỉ lo, bây giờ giờ tiền lấy đua là cho lấy chế nên cho lấy cho bao nhiêu mấy nhỏ là tiền sinh tử, tiền đó thì tàu giả tư là bây giờ hải số được bao thế bây giờ 3 rồi tàu giả chỉ là bây giờ mua phải lời cho được thế xin thế, còn bây giờ họ bên khởi chỉ họ lúc xe nó
Nếu nó bị thản đau ya cho thầu chịu sĩ đó lúc SGU sở chế cho họ Fresno California nó chỉ là phần cô là một chú bé ở bên tu nó là một kia lúc SGU nó đó là Charlie Water theo biểu đi sở chống lanh chống tụ này ở châu cú yên chọn trong thì có gì ít tu kia cho họ lựa nó thiệt and so này cho nhớ tàu cá nó là này bao tiền cho chống lanh chống tụ để involve họ nói thêm một cái ba thiệt
cú trong xe họ tiền tu xe họ tiền biểu đi rồi thiệt Charlie Water để thằng mua có thiệt rồi cái gì phô là nên bé tu nó giờ tu ba bé cho là bé mua nó cá tê cổ tê tê nó là như giờ mua ở để xét định chủ đồ sẽ đợi cho cô tu trò cơn cầu còn đây là ít kho thì có ôn thấy ít tu sĩ cơn cầu thiệt tức là tu xe thì cái ở lần họ xin tập bên nhau là để chúa có nhau không nó thiệt để chúa hơi phô thiệt bé sẽ nhau không nó bé chỉnh cho sư tàu tận đây thiệt chỉ ở vạn này cho được ba thiệt bé qua cả tàu ý giả chỉ thay được phun như thế thì thay rồi nó màจะเป็นหนุ่ยทุนใจซื้อตักกันเด้อมาลีมาหนุ่ยทุนอยู่รู้ยังไงเด้อพอทิ้งถือเขาไว้ก่อนการทันทอดกันนะจีคนนั้นจิมันไม่มาเลยเด้อรู้ยังไงเด้อเจเนี่ยนะไปว่าจะเลยจะตุแผ่นเลย
Chị bà hơi có gì từ community leader cho là cho tôi cho là thế có nó là có xa lý trả thì có hai là được sợ thế giờ
tao cái cố bỏ hai tiền trong phương America đó chỉ tao bao hai tiền bé cho HU đó cho là tao cả bé một trò ba là hiện thằng lúc này phone trâu gì chế mua tụ lo vào America nó béo lên nó nên tao của tao chơi cả nên tao nó bé hai lô chế của tao hai đứa nữa thì bé lúc còn họ mà đi chơi là xã có khi cho kế để bé tôi cho nhắm là tên này chỉ lúc còn học lý trả tôi đó bé theo cái tàu cho nhắm là tên là mà bé mua lu miệng ra rồi đó chỉ mà này bây giờ chỉ luôn đó là chuyện này của thì ô bé chỉ thì nó mà bé chỉ xe nữa mà bé lúc bé nó mà bé chỉ đi nó bé chỉ thì cho cô tu trăng bé thì lúc chỉ dùng nó mà bé chỉ cho nên nó mà cô xã thì giờ này lúc còn học cả tháo tao bên này phê mà chủ chỉ lúc nào là chỉ cái tàu xích thải lên nó thì cô tàu xích này phong mà bỏ thì thằng này phong có trong bà hà là lúc nào nữa tôi cho là đi trả là con năng lượng thả nữa chỉ lúc còn họ chỉ nó chứ lúc là thằng này phong thiên làm việc là xích thả thì theo chỉ lúc còn nó tỏ cá để nó phong thiên trồng chỉ lo nữa thì lúc nào chỉ tao thì cũng bỏ thì cho nó lớn lá là chứแต่ท่านพูดเราเลยเราไปโรงเรียนแต่ไปพงศ์มรู้นั่นย่อตู้เชี่ยเขาแต่อาจารย์ไปจิ๋วๆวันเดียวท่านพูดมูแล้วเราก็ต้องมันจะกู้ตู้จานย่อเขาน่ะไปเทมเจนจีไปต่อในพูดตัวไปต่อมันหายไปเจอแล้วตอนดาวนู้ต่อไปเปล่านู้เลยจิพลูเราไปดีเทติเชี่ยจะในพูดมันจอดเขาจีเขาเจอนั่นแหละไปหัวซื้อตู้เชี่ยแต่ในพูดจีน่าเขาเจอแต่แต่สิโรงเรียนแต่สินะไปอยากกู้ตู้จาน要到我们家เขาเจอแต่我จอดเขาท่านพูดรู้วิธีเรา我到了也กู้โรงเรียน看得见。
Rong share có thế có ít tu veteran nó có xả lý cả thế
của li nó tao kế rong share thì bây giờ rong share này họ bé tao hay tao làm tay hàng lời hay bên cam bên ton nên đây là bé của rong share tao cho nhau tao vào tao chơi là còn đó bé rong share hay bé sẽ được rong share hay có cao một chỗ nên ta
rong share cái nó khang cái trên costa tao làm mà bây giờ chạy cho làm mà pan à bây giờ cũng tôi chọn rong xe cần cầu rong xe cần cầu sẽ chỉ phải là chuyện gì để rong xe hành xử
luôn xí xí nó nè ok có hai là lưu cho họ TV thế à bây lúc TV họ xài đó nó tiền nó nên tàu chắc cuốn mày nó pan đấy có xả lý cả
我啥还得用些，我大家我来保护那孙子没人摸，只要有我摸着花豆，我个有，伢好 TV 个伢每一次，到这没都没有啊，到晒，要来早些晒节，有伢每一次，我拿用些，我到短期个我摸，也贵人摸，就用些呢没人摸。
Congratulations on that. Well, Congressman Jim Costa, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
You
you very
championed
much.
another bill for us in the community.
Well, it's important, and finally we got it done. Thanks to you and all of the Hmong community that were tireless in their support, and Kelly Guild, who never lost faith. Neither did any of us, and we stayed with it.
Thank you, Kelly.
I'm happy to help. It was an honor to work with the SGU, with the General, with Charlie Waters, with Bill Dietzel, many people that came to our office throughout the years to work with Jim to make this happen. It's brought tears to my eyes to have this happen today.
Wonderful. Now, the other residents and veterans at home have a question. How do they get involved, and how would they benefit if they're also a veteran?
Well, the bill was just signed into law on Friday of last week. So the Veterans Administration has the responsibility to issue the regulations on the process that will be followed. And we are hoping that they can issue those regulations within a matter of a couple months, maybe sooner. They've just replaced the Secretary of the Veterans Administration yesterday. So I hope that won't slow things down. However, we got a statement from them today that talked about their full intention to implement the law, and they are in that process. So that we think that's a good sign. I mean, and so we will together, our coalition with the Hmong community, the Hmong organizations, and our office, and Senator Murkowski and Congressman Paul Cook's office, sit down with the Veterans Administration to find out a timeline and an orderly method of issuing the regulations so that the members that are still alive today of the Special Guerrilla Unit, the SGU, will be able to make a determination on what they choose to do with their families when that time comes, when they pass on.
Now, if some of the veterans who are not officially registered or put an application to the organization, would they be allowed to join now?
We're going to have to work through that. and that's not clear.
And you guys will keep us posted on it by all means. The Hmong channel is another resource outlet to the community that they all watch. So if we have that communication, that way we can feed back to the veterans that are interested and who have never been members. So
we will do everything we can, as we always do, to work with the community to try to ensure that fairness is applied.
Well, I just want to say thank you once more again.
Thank you.
You're wonderful in making this happen for the veterans. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Janine, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
I didn't think this day would come, but it is here today.
So congratulations 到被错人做多结故事。
係，佢哋說到我哋最係啲The Hmong Channel 嗰度都講到俾個 celebration，就一隻冠咪 Charlie Water Bill D 做歌做鼓做剪一窿做個字俾說到有 veteran 咯，湯部連咯到孫地部連咯俾鬥你個啥嚟呀？
我做到個話冇話跑嚟攞路นู่呢，故意นู่出聲。到被專門蒙單他到攞到有的事呢，你到冇跑嚟，我係到係啲可能嘛，你只係特別可比嗰邊นู่大老師當นู่呢，只不過拍過啦呢，就你準備不打被ขวด談的就係被自thân嚟判話波，就係 Dr. Charlie Waters， 有一度碰一對要用更高的被專門施作到被專門標啲咗啦，一樣高呢，怎麼被到啲就是被只端被得大的是นู่呢，落到今年的被了，啲落到冇少大了，啲結果。khó rong xe là rong khó tu xe tiền lúc nào là tiền để tiền chỉ nhận được bé bỏ để sử lúc nào cũng yên chân to, lý có yên chân to hay tiền là yên nhau sống tu dân rong bên lúc nào là yên cũng rong xe to khó bé và chỉ sử lúc nào to bé hay nằm mong tan thọ nữa rong xe cơ
cụ tao kể muốn chỉ chọn đồng thôi có gì xịn nó bé cụ giống mong bé sản xuất được tôi muốn cho chọn đồng nó quý tôi không là cụ tôi là nó như nhúa更多 because tôi chỉ giờ lúc cụ mua giờ bóng thì có啲cụ giờ ở thì mình nhúa cho gì nó bé tôi chỉ tao tôi thế họ mù hay ở là lù thế còn giờ thế còn là họ thay sai đâu nó thì nhớ họ nó tương đối một cái dạng trong Fresno County nó thầu cái chính giải nó chọn đồng nó thầu bé cho nó tư chỉ sẽ cho sự tự nhiên nó dễ bắt sống đủ lợi and then có họ xả lại thiết bị của tàu ý đấy là dễ đi nó rồi nó in memory of bé chỉ và mong Pernyat Rapamot Major General Vang Pao nữ cô dọn trong hạt tiền nữ lu yêu giờ lu có lên tu vấn thi gì ở chia cho bọn này gọi chua một trâu lu y lên tu vấn thi trâu ở chia cầu y nó nhau hồng trong Fresno còn nó giờ y khó nu nó bé uống y khó documentary khởi kia hạt tiền nữ lu mình mỏ những chỉ cho bé Jaylee nu nó để cho tu ta hẳn là tôi trong một nó sợ đời cũng một tính dạng thế rong xia là tới 2 chiếc tàu là thế chỉ nên là có họ bé mình chỉ cho hạt tiền bé uống cả rồi có chuột tận đây là thế
lý hải nữa họ nó chủ yếu thơ chuột thi in ở bên cho cái đấy cái nổ bên kia nó sư cho bên trên này mong giờ vẫn nhiều phơi bên trên này mong màเขาตัวตอนเต้จะเรียกเป็นจะเราสิถาเป็นส่วนส่วนตัวนั่นเต้ตรงเนี่ยสิคือตั้งจะเต้คือเต้เต้พงเต้เยอะกูเชียร์ให้แต่จะน่าจะเขาจะน่าจะว่าสินะกูยัง有日เที่ยวสาตันทอส่วนส่วนตัวเขาน้อยว่าจะไปให้เนี่ยมองเขารงจะไปมองจะ要ไปเสด็จลีไปเสด็จตูตันทอเนี่ยกูจะก็รอหลุดไปแต่จะไปจิตทางในพ้นว่าปอเนี่ยไปมองเนี่ยมองจีเนี่ยเขามูชอเลยรอเขาน้อยจะรัวเขาหรือรัวจีเจเราไปจะมีตัวมีหน่วยไปต่อเขตต่อวัวไปต่อมอเชียไปต่อวัวเขาย่อเขาเด้อเขาหูเขายาเขายังcũng chẳng toแต่ไปจะรัวจะไปยังอย่าจ่อลินเด้อไปยังอย่ามูลีเฉิงเด้อเลยเที่ยแต่สิตอนนี้เต้เนี่ยเต้จีเต้คือเต้ปอเต้เยอะเนี่ยตายอยู่จีหล่อเนี่ยจะมักเจตาเชียให้เตี้ยใช้เราlâu rồiเลยจะnó choว่าต้องมูตาเลยอีเผาทอยอีเผาเป็นห้องเก่งกือเป็นห้องลู่นั่งยังอีจื่อมัวเลยเนาะปูเต้เฉียวชัวหล่อตอนนี้เนี่ยเนาะไปเจอมัวเด่นเต้มัวยาตอนเต้ไปชัวเนาะตัวจะชัวลู่เต้เฉียวเขาเนาะอย่าไปป้องกันทอจะรัวเขาหรือเขาเนาะเขารอรู้กูหายแค่เราไปเสียเพราะ係 J 路邊幫係啲啊，俾咗好耐住，佢有俾書，佢啲人咯，俾J 到攞來有話你係定度中就俾幫，其實到啲咪都咪nhỏ包，其實嚟係能多包書，就是咗落好耐就傳到那跑來呢，佢攞來有係到你啲呢啲啲啲啊，俾咗好耐就有俾書，估我都嚟呢咗知啦，你係估中些係啲估họ mua cho công trong mong rong hàng thế của họ mua lúc chơi luôn nhung đó bây giờ thân này phun vào bỏ và bên này bây giờ thế họ cho khéo là luôn cho khéo họ cú bỏ lo nhưng sao bỏ họ nói họ nát thì hay tiệt bây giờ là chỉ tao mua xe cú xe chẳng gặp bên hai nương Hmong thiết sau bên ít chủng Hmong chỉ hay bên nhiệt chính năng tu lâu tu loạn nữa khả năng ya khai tiệt ya tận đây bên Hmong cho cái tàu nó chỉ đào rủ bên Hmong trong đồng lấy bên chỉ thanh này phun vào trong đồng nó chỉ lo từ ba chỉ khả năng ya khaiอยู่ยังอยู่ตัวแค่ยังไม่เชื่อตัวขณะเขาคงว่าหุ่นจะเป็นเชื่อก็เป็นเชื่อสิป้าเป็นเชื่อสิกงเตเป็นเชื่อสิเช่าอยู่เป็นจอนนงห้องน้อก็รอรงนะก็เป็นสื่อลีรอเหลือให้หนึ่งเท่าเป็นสื่อโจโตลุงเดียเต้ว่าเมงน้อเท่าขณะจะเกมบอชัวอันตะกู
nè có họ tây lo cho nhau tàu ba tàu chế là hạt tiền bị chỉเลยchỉ tàu one member tàu SGUเลยgiờ ít tu ô tu cho là tu ta hàngแต่ที่เลยย้อนก้าเลยจ่าเราที่เลยตาวคอมเบนฟิตเราไปจักกฎหมายเนาะ
จักกฎหมายเนาะมาปตากุชินยากาจักกฎหมายเนาะมันมีการมติหูมอง SGU Recognition Act เนอะจะใช้ได้สามมุกเชื่อโซอินเทอร์เน็ตต่อรัฐบาลมีการ Federal รัฐบาลมีการแล้วนี่ยังเชื่อต่อวันใดจัดใจนับพันหนึ่งเลยจะยิ่งจัดใจ HR ปลดจุชากดโตยา Congressman Jim Costa ที่ Congressman Paul Cook เนี่ยอยากกระเต้นแต่สังแคลิฟอร์เนียแล้วยาออโต้เซนเนอร์ลูกกอลิงตัวพักกว่าชาเดียตานอนเนอะจะนู่นน่ะเต้าเลยจะยากฎหมายเลยมาหมู่โตรอลูนู่ให้เตียคอนอมากูซาให้เตียกูเชียให้เตียอยากจะเต้าหรือเอาลูกกาวเอาลูกกงหัวไอ้ปะเต้าcho cả này cho này cho xí này món tàu này bao hải tiề này tụ number xì ấy một đó này giờ anh chị nói này nhớ cho công phản tư này tụ này thằng này tụ này giờ lăng tư tụ này thằng lo mà như bên chị thằng này phun bạc bỏ từ xí này món tàu chỉ hay ở rong nữa từ xí khó lưu liaมีการล็อก process รัฐบาลมีการจ่อดู VA แต่ฉะนั้นเราจ่อดูรู้ Veteran Affairs Department of Veteran Affairs ยังรอลียังรอใช้จันทร์เนาะจะยังนี้มอนเตอร์ให้อย่างรงในชิปเปิลรอbây giờ thả to giá tổng đây Jim Costa giờ chờ bây trong lên trong tụ rõ ràng là sẽ bây giờ verify hay tiệt tụ cái tiền đó là tụ năng đó nhưng giờ tụ chính cuốn trái trái thì họ một tụ chúa lại họ tua John Bay thì是估计才hay thì chạy lăng tư thì是lỡ mà lấy Mika mà lấy những cho lên nó này lấy những chân trái chỉ lấy những mua ít kho là sai cái đủ cho khán giả thế hay thì có thứ tông thế mấy cái cú lao lụt tay có linh đó hay thì khán giả mà chỉ biết chỉ tao thả nên non nữa chỉ biết chỉ thả thôi chỉ tự chú ý hay thì bây giờ verify bây giờ nào là câu lý giải
คนนี้เขาจงจะขอเดียถอชาลีวอเตอร์ที่เบลดีจะไปrecruit หนึ่งถอก็จีตลอดในเจ้าก็ไป recruit จะ member ในเจ้าอีเชียน่ะหลังจากตลอดอีเชียหลังจากจีตลอดเจ้านู่นน่ะเลยจะเดียนน่ะจากคนใหม่น่ะในเจ้าสังกัดหล่อที่ยออีคอลีก็ให้ยอยงยี่ลีไปจีใจเล่นตื้อชัวเล่นชัวตุยเดียมัวดันดาวเดียยินตัวอีตู้จ่อยอมรอเต้น่ะเจ้าทอตัวตรงนี้จะตู้น่ะเราจีเนี่ยล่องหมดจะ organization น่ะยื้อชาดก็ตัวเก็บป้าคนนี้ขอเดียให้เราไปสักตอนนี้น่ะนี่ชอบตู้เชียเทียฉันจะป้องเชียเดียเท่านี้จิตตัวเลยยันนี่นู่นเนี่ยเราไปหาจีนคลูนเนี่ยนะส่วนนี้มาติดตามมาจะว่าเราจีนเองเทียเราจะเชิญเราจะกงเขาแต่สิ่งนี้เราเราเวรเทีย SGU organization ยังคงต้อง president เนาะก็ผมว่าเอาเราลุ้นจีเราเชิญเราเทีย
cho lưu sau chỉ là hai thứ hai năm đầu là thế,แต่是大家还用这的，到北京的用些呢，可能只在北方 Fresno 市，了北方 California 市，了还在估计还在北方 America 市呢，北还呢方单套只还在北亚到山东từ lúc tới chờ từ rồi lại dùng một trò dùng một tàu cá bên phong nhưng mua công mua bè nhưng mua chỉ muốn gì đó lúc tới chờ đó bị sợ bây giờ cái tí mong nhau tới chờ số là nhưng mua cái quan nào chỉ nhưng mua công mua bè trái bây giờ cái tí mong nhau tới chờ Thái là ý à bây giờ cái tí mong nhau tới chờ Pháp Kỳ là ý à của cô chị chạy Canada tới Australia thì sự mua đó lúc tới chờ lo nên lúc này nó chờ hai tia giá ta mà bây giờ qua hai thì ít to đó thì sự nó xã bỏ hai tia xã ya giáo sĩ một lý do là bây cô dùng mông sư ya chỉ cô bỏ hai tia bây giờ cứ tin năng trà mông nhau trong lúc tới chờ là chua là lúc tới chờ lo là nhưng lại hay xấu quá nào quá chứ nhưng mua la mua lúa mua công mua bè mua va mua chế nhưng mua nhiều mua chia thế chỉ khả năng họ chữ sinh hai tia bây chọn đồng mông nó cho hồn tia tây nó cô lo từ ba chỉ cho tia ya sai cả bây giờ đâu như đây đón đâu cho trong đồng không被trong đồng không nó có hai giờ lo rong sư ấy khả năng cho hay cú cho lục của hải đồ bây giờ nó ấy thầu sâu nó cú cứ chỉ năng cho hay thọ cả bây chỉ thằng này phun vào bỏ chữ hoạt tại tu luôn tu lại 保护保有防空防防着被真的蒙管，只在给那个那种，我真的高我么
Thank you
，OK。
Alrighty ในตินหอฉีในกูหายละลูโจในจอยอตบาตาเจที่เจนุนอปิโก celebration downtown ที่ชินจีเราเลยเราเที่ย